Welcome to my first tutorial on software engineering. In this lesson, we will be looking at the various introductory concepts to software engineering. As part of this tutorial, we will be looking at what a software is, attributes of a good software, types of software applications that we have, software engineering, and then software engineering activities. If you've not subscribed to this channel, kindly hit on the subscribe button down there. So let's begin. What is a software? A software is a set of sequential instructions that allows a computer user to perform a specific task. So we've made mention of sequential instructions over here. So what are these sequential instructions we are talking about? This sequential set of instructions are the various codes that the programmer writes, and then the aim of writing all these codes is to allow a particular user or a customer to achieve a particular task he is looking out for. So the main aim of software development is to solve a particular problem. So now let's look at a scenario where we need to add a huge sum of numbers together, and then we want to accomplish this task within the smallest possible time. So we'll task a programmer, hey Sam, we need a software that will help us add two numbers. So Sam will sit down and then write this set of codes. So after this set of codes is written, it is actually going to produce a final product, that is the calculator. And then over here, this calculator comes in to solve our problem. So what are the various attributes of a good software? Since a software needs to solve a particular problem, it needs to meet certain criteria to qualify it as a good software. So what are these criteria we are talking of? The first one is that a good software should always deliver the required functionality. So if I'm looking for a software that will be used for my basic arithmetic operations, and then you deliver me a text-to-speech software, actually it's not meeting the functionality I require, and for that matter, it does not qualify the criteria to be a good software. So each software should deliver the functionality that the user require. Also, it should provide a better performance in such that it should complete any given task within the shortest possible time. Then it should be maintainable. As time goes on, situations changes. So it might get to a time that a user would like to change a certain functionality within the software to meet his requirements. So the software should be such that with any time the customer wants a change within the software, the programmer can change it to meet the changing customer needs. Then we have dependable. Dependable in the sense of security and reliability. The software should be reliable, as in keep track of all information that the user wants or the client requires. The software should be secured in such a way that a third party can't have access to it. And then usable. The software should be easy to use, in other words, user friendly, so that it will be easy for the customer to use in achieving his task within the shortest possible time. Now let's move on to look at the various type of software applications that we have. So the first one we talk of is the standalone application. When we talk of a standalone application, these are application systems that runs on local computers such as PC. They include all necessary functionalities and do not need to be connected to a network. So examples of standalone application includes the Microsoft Office suite and then offline media players such as VLC Media Player, Window Media Player, and many more. We can also talk of others. The second one we'll be talking of is the interactive transaction-based application. Interactive transaction-based applications. These are the applications that execute on remote computers and are accessed by users from their own PCs or terminals. These include web applications such as e-commerce. So with interactive transaction-based application, mostly your device needs to get connected to a particular network, being it an internet or a local area network before it can access certain types of application. So example are various e-commerce applications such as Jumia and many more. We can also talk of Facebook. Since if you do not have internet connectivity, you can't get access to the Facebook application. So these kind of applications are what we term as the interactive transaction based application. They require to be on a particular network before you can have access or you can be able to use it. The next one is the embedded control system. These are software control systems that are controlled and managed by various hardware devices. Numerically, there are more embedded systems than other types of systems. So when we talk of embedded systems, they are systems that are being controlled by various hardware devices. They do not need a particular user to control it. They can work on their own, or they control the various hardware devices. So we can talk of a traffic light. A traffic light operates on its own. It does not need a particular third party to come in to use it in working. We can also talk of the ATM. When numbers are being punched, the ATM itself tries to calculate the amount of money that needs to come out of the system. All right. So let's move on to talk of the next one, that is the batch processing system. A batch processing system. These are business systems that are designed to process data in large batches. They process large number of individual inputs to create corresponding outputs. So with this type of system, they are done, or they are designed to execute data or to process data in batches. Example can be a payroll system. Take a minimum amount of input, and then based on that input, generate the entire payroll of all teachers. We can also talk of school students fees billing system. With a simple input or with a minimum amount of input, such system should be able to generate all school fees bills of all students. So these type of systems are designed to execute or to process information in large batches. The next one is entertainment systems. These are systems that are primarily for personal use, which are intended to entertain users. So we can talk of gaming systems, we can talk of media systems, we can talk of sound systems. So media players such as VLC, Windows Media Player, we can talk of virtual DJ for the sound system, we can talk of gaming systems. So these are systems that are basically designed to entertain the user. The next one is a system for modeling and simulation. These are systems that are developed by scientists and engineers to model physical processes or situations, which include many separate interacting objects. So these systems are designed to simulate real-world objects. So we can talk of car simulation application. So such kind of systems has been designed such that when using it works as if you are actually in the real world object. So we can talk of 3D games. If you are playing 3D games, it is you play it as if you are actually in the game, and then all activities happening are within your presence. So such are the system for modeling and simulation. So the next one you'll be looking at is data collection system. These are systems that collect data from their environment using a set of sensors and send that data to other systems for processing. Alright, so with this system, they work using various sensors. So example can include car remote control system or car alarm system. They work using various sensors, and then immediately they feel those sensors around, or the sensors start working, it starts sending various data that are required. So taking for example a car remote system, the moment you press the lock button, the sensor communicates with the car and then gets the car locked. And then with the car alarm system, the moment it feels a sense of touch or something, it starts making noise. So the next one is a system of systems. So these are systems that are composed of a number of other systems. So when you combine the various systems we've mentioned together, when you combine either two or more of them, then we get a system of systems. So we can talk of ATM system, which consists of an interactive transaction-based embedded system, a data collection system, and many more. Now, what is software engineering? Software engineering is a discipline that is concerned with all aspects of software development. It involves analyzing user requirements, designing, building, and then testing software products. So with software engineering, it involves a whole lot. Mostly when we talk of software, people actually center their focus on writing computer codes to get a software for a client. But software engineering involves all activities right from users intent of getting a software to actually delivering the software packages for the user to use. So it involves analyzing user requirements. So a client or a user will come to you and say, hey Sam, I need a particular software. The first question you're gonna ask is, what are the functionalities, or what do you require the software to do for you? So that is the user requirement. So starting from the user requirement to the time you sit down to design various database, various prototypes, to actually writing the computer codes and then testing to see if everything is done, then delivering the software to the user for the user to use. Every activity that goes on in the form part of the software engineering. So it concerned with all aspects of software development and not just writing computer codes. So what are the various software engineering processes? So software engineering processes are the various activities that goes on from the start to the end. So the first one we will talk of is the software specification and requirements. So this is where all user requirements are gathered. So a client will come to you, hey Sam, I need a software. So the question is, what functionality do you require? So all the functionalities or all the requirements the user will give out to you. This is this process and covers it all. So it looks to see the various specification of the software you are to develop. Then the next one is software design and implementation. So after the user has given you all his requirements he needs for a particular software, you sit down to model, you sit down to design the various schemas, the various user interfaces, the various flow, the various cases. And then after you are done designing, you actually put them into coding to get the real world object or to get the actual software. You get it? So with the software design and implementation, it involves design and coding. Then we move on to the third one, that is software testing. So after you are done writing your software, you need to test. So you need to test to see if every part of the system is actually working. And then from there we move on to evolution and then maintenance. So after you've given the software to the user for the user to use, as time moves on, the software the client may require some changes. So over there, this at this stage, that is where we the various changes or we do make changes in the software to meet the changing customer needs. Thank you for joining this session. If you find this content very useful, kindly subscribe and then share. Bye bye.